my basically I was from the childhood I was very much inclined with the camera thing. So later I found my interest into, I was doing photography, but later I always say, I might say I was a naive to the situation, like what was going on in the Kashmir, what was happening around me. Later, you can't be insensitive towards the situation. So later I understood, realized, and I took that as my profession because I found it as a potential media, and I found I could express myself and what is happening to tell the stories, to photograph better. That would help me, in going. You see, first, if we talk about media, like you talk democracy, there is this, you called it as a pillar of democracy. But in Kashmir, at least, media persons should be allowed to do their job, to have a, hassle-free movement. But that is not. That has completely been curbed in Kashmir. And even you have, as a journalist, you want to tell stories. You need to have information. But when you see there is no information, we are disconnected. And we were like, even we having the proper ID proof with ourselves, the trooper or the army person, police says that no, this is not not allowed. But we don't allow. You are not allowed. We have been told that not to allow any journalist to to work or to move around. Even our restrictions have been restricted there. Yeah, see, because one has to find way. So it was very hard, very difficult first to because there was no connection, no access to any means of communication. First you have to inquire. That was word of the mouth. Even you hear from somebody that something has happened, so you first have to go to that place, very particular place, and investigate, inquire if that has happened or not. And by that time it could be too late. Even the incident happened 2 hours ago, we may reach 2 hours later or the day after that. So by that time it's late. What is the point? But when you have to go there, you have to see, then with lot of efforts, there are checkpoints, you have to cross those checkpoints and police won't allow you to go. So with all these hurdles, like you reach to a point, you capture, you do story, you record it, and then there is no means. आप कहाँ भेजोगे? There is no internet. आप करोगे तो क्या करोगे? आप जो आपके पास content है, you have to disseminate the information, tell the truth, tell the story. But वहाँ से भी नहीं. But what we did, जब ये communication हो गया, so we went to the airport. We went to airport. With our pen drives. With the pen drives, and we send it with the passengers, and told them to send it to this address, to just make sure to reach this address. And even then we were not able to track whether it has reached, what has happened, because there were no news, no channels, no internet, nothing at all. But somehow, and we did our best, we coped with the situation, and we tried to make world listen what is happening in the Kashmir. It is not like after August 5, situation has worsened, or before that Kashmiris have always seen, when they have seen anything good, this has been happening since years. Like this article, revocation of article means without consulting, without taking Kashmiri on table, Kashmiris feel betrayed, and they didn't consult, they didn't have Kashmiri on table. They did it overnight and keep people under dark, and that is altogether a different story how they did it. Like that was such a covert operation by the state, like taking off, revoking Article 370. See, this has been from so long. It has been decades. Like since this is a struggle. Kashmir is a disputed region, and India has to understand that it's a conflicted region. They need to solve it properly. So what Indian media has always been biased. They have only one narrative, like everything is normal, situation is normal. If situation is normal, why there is no internet connectivity? And even I, as a journalist, feel very disappointed because they have only this one narrative that everything is normal in Kashmir. Kashmir is normal. There is peace, there is development, and that is not development. What kind of peace? What kind of development? They are saying, and they had made to even we being a local journalist, our job. They made Indian channels or Indian reporters or journalists made our job difficult to work in Kashmir, because they go Kashmir, they parachute, they go there, they work, they talk to people, then they show something else, then they show it very differently, then they portray Kashmir very different, which is not true. So that has created mistrust among Kashmiris with respect to the journalist or any for that matter who is working there. So this is how it is. This is how under
journalists survey there.
Of course it is. You see, this is a pressure, this is a threat, this is a, investigation. What they are doing, they are telling us, you don't have to tell truth. But not directly, not formally or informally. Whatever you say, how they did it. Is there was no clarity why they took him at the very first place. Why they are taking him. So such things happen. Even there is one journalist, he tweeted something, and since then he is in jail. He has been detained because he reported the truth. So he is in jail. This is how working in Kashmir is like. But as far as international media is concerned, they have done a pretty good job. That's why there was this counter narrative in the news channels. Like, first they say this is not the footage from now, this is the older footage, to which there was evidence with the international media. Like, no, this is what you are doing there, this is what is happening. So of course, how could Kashmiri feel any good in Indian media? But irrespective, there are certain channels, I won't say channels, but certain portals who are doing great job. Being a journalist, it is very dark. Seriously, it is very dark. And how journalists are harassed, they are beaten. This happens, and there have been cases how journalists have been beaten, harassed. This is a story. This is a story in itself. But this is how it is. Now that is very dark. Situation is very dark. And I say for the journalist students like working, they should do. See what Indian channels are doing on the name of journalism. They are showing the wrong picture. And that is making a bad name, as far as journalism is concerned. But one should remember, there are ethics they need to follow, basic, ethics. Do it ethically, what is right, what is wrong, and approach with sensitivity. Keep that in mind, and ethics particularly. And be honest with whatever you are doing, and be truthful. You have to tell the truth. So there are people who you are accountable. You are accountable at a level. So keep those things, little things in your mind, because that little things make difference.